Hey guys, how are you? Yes, I'm still in my pajamas. I have yet to make it out of them today. That's okay, don't worry. I still get paid in my pajamas. Alright, so I have Buddha here. Happy Buddha. And we're gonna rub his belly for good luck. And we're gonna do a love situation reading. So I have those cards. And I have these little heart prayers. So we should do a prayer before we start the love situation. So just like, these cards are really hard to shuffle because they're heart shaped, but okay. This is our prayer. Acceptance. So that's an important theme for today. Acceptance. There is nothing in life to fix, only the disowned parts of you. Okay? That yearn for love and acceptance. You are beautiful just as you are, regardless of any faults you may perceive that you have. You are an eternally radiant being of light. Isn't this beautiful? Accept all that you are and just be you, okay? When you truly accept yourself, your whole world will magically and lovingly transform. So, what that means is that in your love situations, if you're having difficulties or you're struggling, or if you just want to improve your love situation, you must first accept yourself. You must stop seeing your life or your love life as being problematic and needing to be fixed, okay? You have to see it as like there's certain maybe disowned parts of yourself, certain parts of yourself that you haven't taken responsibility for, or that you haven't worked through within yourself. And that could be affecting your love life, okay? But it doesn't need to be fixed. You just need to rediscover yourself, okay? You need to understand that you're beautiful just as you are. You're not broken. You're working on yourself daily. And that the faults that you perceive don't really exist, okay? Because you are continually evolving spiritually and growing, which is what makes your love life also develop and grow, right? Okay, so remember, when you start to accept yourself, and you know that you deserve love and that you know you're doing your very best, you're loving yourself and loving others, you can transform everything in your life and make it better and most improved, right? Okay, with that having been said, we'll ring the bell. Call in all the good energies, our benevolent ancestors, our spirit guides, and our angels. And we'll see what is going on with love situations. These cards are crazy, so just prepare yourself. Remember, nothing's broken. Nothing needs to be fixed. Okay, so the first card is options. So I think some people in their love lives are facing difficult decisions, and maybe people who are just like have a fear of choosing wrong. Maybe you're trying to choose between two people, or you're trying to decide if you should make a choice that could affect the other person in the love situation. Okay, and since this person's like kind of like packed up and on a journey, like maybe you're choosing where you want to go on vacation, or if you want to take a trip, or if you want to get away. I don't know, but there's definitely some kind of options that are affecting your love life. And then engagement in reverse. Maybe you're trying to decide if you want to ask someone to marry you. Okay, so commitment, promises, making it official, marriage in your future. That's in reverse. So I think that means that maybe certain people are calling off engagements, or they're realizing maybe that person isn't the right person for them. Maybe they mean a commitment that they're not feeling like that's, or maybe you also could be some of you guys feel kind of broken about yourself, like you're like, oh, there's no way marriage is in my future, I'm done with marriage, whatever. So I think spirit is telling you not to think that way, because I think it is still a possibility, okay? And you will have a commitment, and you will find someone who will actually keep promises and will make your relationship official. That is for those of you who think it's impossible in your future. Now, the other ones of you who are already in a situation where you're considering taking your relationship to the next level and making those commitments, some of those may be changing their mind, seeing some red flags that are making them not want to go in that direction, okay? Because some healing, so there's some healing going on. So for those of you, I think maybe some people are healing from past relationships where commitments weren't kept and the relationship didn't work because there were too many options, or the other person chose a different option, or both people chose different options. And so there's some healing, reevaluating needs, self-care, self-love. So in order to move forward, I think a lot of you really need to stop. And, you know, because that prayer talked about acceptance, accepting yourself, loving yourself, getting to that self-love mode, and realizing that until you love yourself, you're not going to ever be ready to love another person and make this kind of serious commitment until you've healed those parts of yourself that you've disowned and accepted yourself fully and are ready to show the world the real you instead of that masked fake person that you're showing up, trying to pretend, showing off your money, showing off, you know, love bombing the other person and showing up and being their knight in shining armor instead of being who you really are. And that's something we all have to heal in ourselves, okay? So there's some healing, some mending going on right now, and there's some healing that needs to happen. And when it says self-love, that means you have to feel like you love yourself enough that you have no issues being single for the rest of your life. If you don't ever find another person to commit to, that you can love yourself enough, that you can take yourself out on dates, that you can sit alone with yourself and be happy. Until you get to that point where you don't feel like you need another person, that you're dependent on other people, then you're not going to have a healthy, true relationship. I see people all the time who are like in a marriage and it's falling apart, but they wait and they're out dating before their marriage is over. They don't want to end that relationship and actually do the inner work and heal before they're jumping into another relationship. And that is just going to keep you in karmic cycles and karmic patterns until you're willing to, if you are in an unhealthy relationship and you are unhappy, it doesn't really mean you're unhappy with that person. It actually really means you're unhappy with yourself. And a lot of times we blame the other person. We're like, oh, this person's not having sex with me enough. This person's not doing the dishes enough. This person doesn't listen. This person doesn't care. But really what it is we're projecting those broken parts within ourselves onto that other person. And instead of trying to point those fingers back at ourselves and fix us and love us, we blame the other person. So then we trade that person in for the next person, and then it's the same thing all over again. Why? Because you don't love you. You have to learn to accept and love yourself first. Find out who you really are and what you really want before you can go presenting yourself to another person, okay? So, mirroring. Interesting, because I was just talking about that, right? So, mirroring each other. Something needs healing. You're seeing yourself in them. Oh my gosh, isn't that crazy? I just picked up this card. I was telling you guys that a lot of people, when they're blaming the other person in a relationship, it's because they're seeing broken parts of themselves in that person, things that they need to fix within themselves. Not really fix, okay, that's not the right word. Things they need to accept and they need to work through in their lives. Things that they feel are broken, they need to come to terms with. And, you know, otherwise you're just mirroring and you're seeing that there's certain things you need to heal in yourself. It's not that it's broken, it's just something that needs to be healed, acknowledged, and worked on, because we're all growing, okay? All right. unvalued, taking for granted, unequal give and take, and not feeling appreciated. So a lot of people who are in relationships right now do not feel valued. They feel like they're being taken for granted. They feel like there's an unequal give and take. So what that means is, like I said, you can't expect other people to love you unless you're willing to love yourself. So you have to show yourself first that you care enough to take care of yourself before you care for others. How do you take care of yourself? Well, you take care of your health, make your health a priority, make sure that you're your healthiest self, that you're drinking enough water, that you're eating nutritionally, that you're getting exercise, that you're getting enough rest, that you're doing hobbies, things outside of your relationship that are important to you, things that make your heart sing, that you're keeping, your house clean, your car clean, that you're taking care of your belongings, and that you're spending time with people outside of your relationship, that you have other things. You cannot make one person your everything. You have to love yourself first and work on yourself, okay? And when you do that, then the other person, as you start loving and caring for yourself, it will help in the relationship to make the other person do the same thing. Because you don't attract what you want, you attract what you are. So you have to be, if you want your partner to be more loving, you have to be more loving. If you want your partner to listen more to you, you need to listen more to them. If you want your partner to have sex with you more, then you need to be in a sexual, romantic setting. You have to put in the work too. You can't just expect your partner to do all of the initiating. It has to be both ends, okay? And then when you value yourself, the people around you will start to value you more, okay? And so a lot of you have been overthinking. You're stuck in your head too much, creating scenarios. And maybe you're thinking of the other person a lot, but you're too much in your head. And this makes me feel like some of you guys are like in a mental prison. You're like, what can I do? How can I fix this? And you're just thinking. And then even if you're going through a breakup or whatever, wherever you are, get out of your head. Stop thinking about how can I fix this, or what can I do different, or who am I going to be with next, or how am I going to get married, or whatever it is you're doing that's keeping you in your head, and get more in a spiritual, meditative, calm state of mind. Do other things that aren't just focused on your love relationship, whether you're together, separated, single, wherever you are in the romance aspect of your life. Put less into thinking in all these different scenarios and more into doing things that are going to help you be the best partner you can be for another person if you meet the right person. A lot of you are creating all these scenarios. I think some people are like even making things bigger than they are. Maybe some problems you're making a little bit bigger in your love relationships than they should be. Okay, and yeah, so the main lady, they have chosen no interference, focus on one person. So I think what this is saying is a lot of people here have to accept that having multiple options is not healthy. If you're single and you're dating and you tell the other person you're dating a lot of different people, that's different. But if you're in a committed relationship, having all these options and not having one person and making a choice, all that interference is keeping some of you guys or the other person stuck in their head, feeling unvalued, and it's destroying the relationship. And there's a lot of mirroring going on where both parties, of the people who are in relationships, both parties are going outside and feeling like they have too many options. And maybe they're focused on a person outside of their marriage too much, or they're focused outside of someone outside of the relationship too much, or the relationships that are a little bit healthier, they're focused on that main person, and they're mirroring each other and growing spiritually if they're in a healthy, good direction. But the ones that aren't going in the right direction, people who are breaking up, are people who both the other person feels undervalued. And I think this is the people that are not loving themselves enough. And they're not making a choice. They're keeping too many options open. Okay? And it's affecting the commitment. And this needs to be healed. If you are in a committed relationship, you cannot have all these options going on. If you're feeling like you need more than one option and you're not ready to make the choice for a main person, then you need to get out of that relationship and make yourself single. Okay? Because you're hurting yourself and you're hurting the other person. Don't make a commitment unless you want to keep that commitment. Now, it's different if you define your relationship as open or whatever that is. As long as both people are aware and both people agree to that type of relationship. If that's not the case, then it's time for you to move on, okay? Know the path, align with your purpose, and accept your story and get on the right track, which is what I was just saying. Everyone defines their relationships different. For example, if you're a same-sex person and you want to be with the same sex, don't be married to the opposite sex pretending to be heterosexual when you're really closet homosexual, okay? Get on the right path. Be honest with yourself and that person, and don't be misleading. Choose the main person in the relationship. But if y'all agree to be open, you want to have an open marriage and everyone agrees to that, that's fine. But you need to be honest about it. If you're at the point where you meet someone else and you don't want to be that person anymore, have the integrity and the confidence, the courage to be honest with that person and to be honest with yourself, because you're just wasting time. You're wasting that person's time and you're wasting your time, okay? If you're not truly in love with that person, don't get in a mental prison and stuck. Don't stay stuck here. Have the courage to be honest and for yourself. Don't just keep mirroring each other and going back and forth, feeling undervalued and feeling like this commitment isn't real. Do not give this ring unless you're willing to follow through on this commitment. Like I said, it depends on how you define your relationship. Everyone has a different way of doing that, as long as both parties agree to it. There are too many people that are staying in relationships, lying and misleading and being dishonest, and it's causing a lot of people to have broken hearts and have to heal from that. Okay? And then the runner. Someone is trying to avoid the connection. They're running from themselves and they're ignoring you. And that's what is happening because, like I said, some of y'all are in these like mental prisons and you're not accepting parts of yourself, or they're not accepting parts of themselves, and they're avoiding the connection. They're running, they're going to other people, they're exploring their options instead of staying and truly upholding this commitment because it's in reverse. So stop running from yourself. Stop running from your partner. Be honest with yourself. Be honest with your partner. Be old school, old-fashioned thinking. Take dating seriously. Take things slowly. Don't rush into relationships. That's how you get caught up in narcissistic and abusive relationships. If someone is rushing you, that is not love. Love is patient. Love is kind. Doesn't seek its own. And a bunch of other things I can't think of right now. But it is patient. If someone loves you, they will be patient with you. They're not going to be rushing you down the aisle. And if they are, why? If you have the rest of your lives, what's the rush if you're together? Okay? Don't let other people rush you into making decisions. Take your time, date people, get to know people before you make serious commitments. Make sure that this is the main person that you want in your life. Okay? Otherwise, you're going to get stuck in mental prison. And not just that, you're going to be stuck in like a physical commitment of mixing your finances and making things really complicated for yourself. If you're not sure, take your time. Now, I'm not also encouraging people to like be engaged for 10 years either, but you know, there's a difference between knowing someone for like 6 months and then running down the aisle or whatever, and then, you know, waiting a few years and really getting to know that person and seeing all aspects. If you have not seen a person in every type of situation, that's not good. You need to see somebody when they're sick. You need to see somebody at the airport when their flights get canceled. You need to see someone in traffic. You need to see someone, you know, when they have a great day at work, when they have a bad day at work. You need to see all of that before you get yourself in a committed relationship. Otherwise, you're going to find yourself trying to get yourself out of it down the road. And if you have any doubts, listen to that. Listen to your intuition, okay? Adventure, getaway, travel, break, time off. So maybe some of you guys need a vacation. If you're having difficulties or you're having questions about your relationships right now, maybe a vacation or time away will help you. If you're a couple, maybe if you guys go on a vacation, you can reconnect and talk about some issues if you're having problems in your relationship. Or if you're just single and you just need a vacation, you want to get away, you want to think about your love life, maybe you'll meet someone new, or maybe you'll just learn to love yourself more, or you'll discover something about yourself that's going to help your relationships in the future. Okay, last card, broken promises. Oh my God. Broken promises, misled, the trust is broken, unreliable. So I feel like there are a lot of broken trust right now. I think there's some people that are in very unhappy relationships. They're running from themselves. They're running from their commitments. They're not willing. They're stuck in this little prison. They're not willing right now to really tell the other partner the truth. They're misleading. And, yeah, I think there's some broken promises going on right now. And if that's the case, have enough courage to tell the truth. If you're in an unhappy situation and you know that person is not right for you, love yourself enough and love that person enough to let them go. Because if that person is going to be happier with someone else, love them enough to let them go be happier somewhere else. And love yourself enough to free yourself, okay? Why keep each other bound? And don't tell me, oh, because the kids know when you're unhappy, and all you're doing is role modeling to those children to stay in situations that aren't working, that are broken, and are not making you happy. Do you really want to role model that for your kids? Your kids don't do what you tell them to do. Your kids do what you show them. Trust me, I know from both my sons. And I am speaking to myself when I say that. So don't stay for finances. Don't stay for kids. Don't stay because of your family. Don't stay because you just spent $20,000 on a wedding preparations. Don't do it. Don't do it, because you're going to be miserable and you deserve to live your happiest, best life. You only get to be in this life one time, this life. So make it count. Make every minute of it count. Be with the ones you love. And if you love being with multiple people, have the courage to tell your partner, I want to be with multiple people. I want to have fun. I want to do whatever you want to do. And if you want to be with just one person, then tell the person who wants to be in the open thing, hey, this isn't for me. Be honest. Because why? The Bible says, know the truth, because the truth will set you free. Free yourself with the truth, and free the people that you love with the truth. It doesn't say the truth is easy. It doesn't say the truth can't hurt. It doesn't say the truth doesn't take courage. But it does say it will set you free, okay? So, someone who is verbally abusive and uses violent, critical, and insulting language is trying to control you. Okay? If you are in this kind of situation, you need to free yourself from this. I don't care why. I don't care Don't tell me, oh, well, we've been married 20 years. I don't care how many years you've been married. I don't care what the situation is that makes you mentally in this mental prison, keeping yourself stuck. I don't care what it is. Love yourself and the other person. Love your kids and yourself enough to get out of this. No one deserves to be verbally or mentally abused and manipulated. No one. Okay? Now, I do understand that it's not easy to just walk out. I understand sometimes you have to plan. I understand sometimes you have to take certain steps. You have to get support and help. I'm not saying just walk out in one day, unless, of course, your life is in immediate danger, which is different. But what I'm saying is that if you feel like you're being in a verbally abusive and physically abusive relationship, take the steps, get the support you need, because you deserve better. And I know a lot of people get trauma bonded and codependent and they feel stuck mentally, but you can get out of it and you will feel so much more peaceful and so much better when you do. I promise you, you will be free. And freedom is so, so amazing, okay? Love yourself. You don't need anyone except your creator and yourself. God will have your back. He will provide for you. Trust me. I've walked out of very difficult situations in my life with nothing but my faith. Nothing but I was like, God, take the wheel or whatever. Like, God, do it. And he did it. He showed up for me every time. I'm going to tell you something. Every time I left those situations, which I thought, I'm going to be stuck. I'm going to be poor. How am I going to do it? Guess what? God made a way every time. And I came back better. I came back stronger. I was blessed more. I was rewarded for being obedient, for having the courage to love my creator and love myself enough to get away from these demonic, low vibrational people who don't love themselves. That's why they're abusive. That's why they're demonic and abusive, because they don't love themselves. They're not connected to their creator. There's a disconnect. There's parts of themselves that they are not healing. So you have to get away from people like that. Now, listen, you can love them from afar. I'm not saying hate them and be mean to them or whatever. I'm saying pray for them. Pray that they heal. But don't keep yourself in those situations that are keeping you stagnant and stuck and miserable. Okay? Other card that came out, the ordinary, focus on what they are getting. The extraordinary, think about what they are becoming. So think about what you're becoming, not what you're getting. Don't think, oh, well, what if I put in here? Well, what am I going to get in this divorce? Or what am I going to get in? Think about what you're becoming, not about what you're getting. When you go to the gym, so many people are like, oh, I got to fit in this wedding dress or I have to be bikini ready. No, think about the fact that you're going to make your skin healthier. You're going to have better circulation. You're going to have toned body. You're going to have your organs are going to feel healthier. You're going to sweat out toxins. You're going to get rid of stress. You're going to become the highest, best, healthiest version of yourself. And yes, you're going to look great in a bathing suit because you're going to be healing yourself. You're going to be doing something good for yourself. Change your thinking and you will change everything in your life. Promise you. I promise you that, okay? So those are your love messages, guys. Make sure that let's say this prayer again one more time. Acceptance. Accept the things you can't control, okay? There is nothing in your life to fix, only the disowned parts of you that yearn for love and acceptance, okay? You are beautiful just as you are, regardless of any faults you may perceive that you have. You are an eternally radiant being of light. Accept all that you are and just be you. So many people today are trying to be so fake with the fake card, like the cars, and I have to have this and I have to have that, and that's what's on the inside. Be you. Show the world you. Take off the masks, take off the layers. I'm not saying not to work on yourself and try to make yourself your best version of yourself and your most beautiful self. That's great. But don't rely on those things to the point that you're afraid of being the real you. And that you're just mimicking how everyone else is dressing, what everyone else is doing. Do it because you like it and because you want to look that way, not because everyone else looks that way. You know what I'm saying? Do it for the right reasons. You are eternally radiant being of light. When you truly accept yourself, your whole world will magically and lovingly transform. So let's do it. Let's transform. Let's change together. Let's make planet Earth better. Because if everyone would do that, just think of how amazing this planet would be. And how amazing the future for our children and their children. Okay, I love you guys. Those are your love messages. Take care. Have a happy night.